Retirement savings are subject to big changes thanks to a provision in the new $1 trillion spending bill, Secure Act 2.0. Accountant Gene Marks is with us to break it all down. Good to see you, Gene. Thanks for joining us this morning.
Hey, Steve. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, so listen, I'm going to be honest. There's a lot going on here in a short amount of time, so let's hit some of the highlights here. For those, obviously, we're focused on retirement here. So what are some of the ways that this would impact people the most?
Okay, we'll try and do this quickly. And by all means, everything I'm telling you now, check with your accountant or your attorney. But if you're an older employee, you will have the opportunity to save a lot more into your retirement plan. So basically, you can keep your money in your 401k, your company retirement plan, now up to the age of 73 years old without having to be forced to take it out as a distribution. So that's good. You can keep retirement savings in there longer. The second thing is, if you're over the age of 60, you can start putting away up to $10,000 a year additional over the requirements that you're allowed to put away for future retirement. So the bottom line is, if you're over the age of 60 years old, talk to your accountant, because there are many more ways to put away money for retirement into the future, because you're going to need that in the years to come. Is that a good way to start?
It's a great way to start. For the younger people there, we always say start investing early, do what you can. And a lot of people, it's starting with that 401k if it's available as an option to you. But one of the changes here is an automatic investment. Is that a good idea for people, something to be aware of? Can you opt out? And if so, how do you do that?
You can. It's an automatic enrollment. And so what the plan is doing, remember, the whole point of this is to get more people to save for retirement, right? So starting in another year or so, the government is going to require employers that have a 401k plan to automatically enroll their employees into it, new employees, up to a 3% contribution. So say you're working at a company, all of a sudden you have to be putting money into your 401k plan as a requirement, but relax, you can still opt out if you don't want to. The hope is that once you start saving money, you'll continue to do so, and that will benefit you in the future.
Yeah, the hope that you just don't miss that extra 3% at this point, and it grows so that you have it for the future, for the retirement. Businesses also get a little break here, especially small businesses, right, as far as tax breaks?
They do. Biggest one is this. There is a tax credit for setting up a 401k plan. So if you're a small business, and by the way, like more than half of small businesses don't have retirement plans for their employees, there is a little bit of a cost to set it up. Go ahead and get it set up. The government will reimburse you up to 100% of those costs through tax credits. So you won't have to pay anything for getting a 401k plan set up. And that's important for a small business.
So, Gene, one thing that I have a little trouble understanding here that I'm hoping you can make a little simpler, because there's been so much talk, obviously, about student loans right now. And we know what a hamstring that is for a lot of people getting going. How is that now tied into a potential 401k?
This is big. So if you're an employee and you are paying down your student loans, as so many younger employees are doing, now the government wants to help. They're basically saying to employers, listen, if an employee is paying down their student loan, they can treat that payment every year as a contribution to the retirement plan, which means you can match that payment. So for example, say you're an employee and you paid $1,000 down on your student loan during 2024. Your employer can take the $1,000 that you paid and match it with a contribution to a 401k plan. It's pre-tax, so that means you won't get taxed on it, and the employer gets a deduction of it as well. So it's designed to help those student loan payers that can't put money away for retirement, to give the incentive to the employers to put money away on their behalf. Does that make more sense?
It totally makes sense, and I hope people take advantage of that, the employers, to help some folks out as well. Maybe retain those employees for a little bit longer, right? Which is it seems to be the goal these days. What do you think? What do you think is the biggest takeaway? Because I know that this is staggered, right? Some things will kick in sooner, some things maybe it's a couple years down the road. But for folks to be aware, if we maybe are doing our financial housekeeping in the beginning of the year, what should we be most aware of?
So obviously, if you're an individual and you're working for a company, there's going to be a lot of ways for you to put more money away for retirement, and that certainly benefits you in the future. But, this message is to small business owners, Steve, okay? A lot of small business owners kind of resist, setting up your retirement plans. The more that your employees put away for retirement, the more that you can put away for retirement. And the government now, with the Secure 2.0 Act, they're giving us all these incentives to help our employees put money away for retirement. That means that I can put more money away for retirement. That's really good, not for just your employees, but also for you as the employer as well. So really take advantage of these incentives. It helps everybody.
Yeah, hopefully some great news down the road. A good way to start the new year. Gene, thanks so much. And speaking of, have a great new year as well. Accountant Gene Marks joining us this morning.